Let's make your job easy.
It was the home side locking away the 16-point victory, and in doing so, booking the home preliminary final in a fortnight's time. Welcome to Eagle Review, proudly sponsored by Kennards Hire. Ben Roberts, thanks for joining me.
Pleasure.
Back for another week.
How
Finals
exciting.
time, it always is exciting. Haven't jumped out of the blocks well in the past month, so when we got 3 goals to nothing up, very exciting times. Thought, here we go, using it at 68% by foot. Gov's got 7 grabs already. We're on. Then Travis Varco slots a ripper to get the Pies up and running.
Absolutely, and I mean, what a tragic recent weeks it's been for the Varco family. And again, we send our condolences to them all and hope they're all doing well. Amazing goal after, imagine the emotion going through him and all of his family, and he decided to play. And not only to do that, to then get up and actually play really well was amazing, and to kick off things with that goal. And then what about Shuey later in the game?
Big chase down tackle,
huge
that
chase. Amazing stuff from him, and credit to him.
Collingwood really put the screws in the second quarter. 6 goals to 3, turned the match on its head and got right back into the contest through the back of the likes of Sidebottom, Grundy, Adams. Their midfield got going, and Phillips also.
Absolutely, and we're able to move the ball really easily, and the pressure dropped off a little bit from West Coast, but geez, their ball movement was good, and they were getting out the back a lot, using the ball really well. Final quarter, absolutely critical. They needed to come out. Contested ball was massive for the West Coast Eagles, nearly double-digit win. In fact, it was a double-digit win in the contested ball numbers there. 5 goals to 1, but you know what I wanted to look at, Thumper? We both had periods of dominance in the game. West Coast quarters 1 and 4. Collingwood probably owned 2 and 3, albeit 3 with a real arm wrestle, 1 goal each. But if you look at the goals kicked from each team in those quarters of where they would say own the game, West Coast first quarter and last quarter we kicked 8 goals. Collingwood second quarter and third quarter 8 goals, so that's all even. But I think the key was when Collingwood kicked 6 goals in the second quarter, really got a run, and we were still able to kick 3 goals. Whereas in the last quarter, when we kicked 5, we limited Collingwood just to the 1, and that, my friends, is your ball game.
Yeah, big stat, that one. I enjoyed this one. So what about the 7 inside 50s from clearances in the fourth quarter? Only had 18 for the match. So the contested ball, but the stoppage work from the West Coast Eagles was at its most critical. Lewis Jetta, the man, steps up again with this brilliant stop prop, 40-metre snap goal. Props to Liam Duggan, though, for his tackle that dispossessed the ball. But Jetta also having a hand in the handball goal assist to Lecker, did the rest to get it to Jack Darling.
Yeah, one of the best games Jets has played for the West Coast Eagles. Geez, his ball use is good. You want him going and being brave with his ball use, because it comes off more often than not, and when he gets forward, and he can be very dangerous on spilt balls. Very similar, it reminded me of the goal he kicked against Adelaide here, like late in the piece, bit of dodging and weaving and then kicking a clutch goal. And celebration, not bad as well, if you don't mind.
Terrific Ronaldo pose, that one. There was, of course, a sour note from Saturday night's qualifying final. It's Brad Shepherd pinging a hamstring in the first quarter. Looked like a nasty one. We're going to wait for scans back to see the severity of the damage, but troubling from the normal durable defender.
Yeah, durable is an understatement. He's played 95 consecutive games, which of anyone who's on an active streak, that's the longest at the club by some margin, it must be said. If you look at why this happened, I think it's because, look, the 2 boys are running very quick. In fact, it was the quickest speed he reached for the night on the GPS numbers. If you're running full tilt, get a big shove in the back, you suddenly go at an even quicker speed, and that's a speed that your body cannot produce off its own volition.
And off balance,
and
too.
off balance, and when that happens, ping goes the string, as we say.
Very similar to the Treloar incident on the boundary line,
Very similar to the one a couple of years
wasn't it?
ago, and also the Judd one from a couple of years ago as well. So if you get a big shove in the back, watch those hamstrings.
It's going to be interesting what they do now. Do they bring in a like-for-like and a small defender? Does Nelson get the call-up? Do you look to do something like keep Marston where he was, because they obviously shifted him back and had to move things around? Or is Will Schofield a likely change coming in, as he was unlucky to miss out, Ben Roberts?
A lot of options there. I mean, even Frankie Watson's been playing, or until the East Perth finish, he's been playing some pretty good footy at the waffle level.
That'd be a handy time to debut in a preliminary final,
but
wouldn't it?
you would have to think that a debut in a final off no game prep would be highly unlikely.
What about player of the finals? Who's leading it thus far from the West Coast Eagles?
Boy, oh boy, there was probably 2 that were exceptionally good. Yowie was unbelievable.
36 disposals, 24 contested. Next highest was 15, Dommy Sheed, who was also quite commendable on the night.
For Yowie, 9 inside 50s, 5 clearances, 9 tackles, 621 metres gained. I mean, that is just one of the great games, really.
Well, no one got in the 500-metre category, so he smashed it in that area.
Yeah, unbelievable. And what about this tap, mate? If Sil Rioli had done that, we would be talking about it for 2 weeks and saying, give him the Norm Smith medal now.
Fair tunnel ball skills, that one.
Unbelievable stuff. But the other man, Redden, was huge as well. Like 32 touches, 8 score involvements, kicked the goal after the siren, of course. 12 marks, being linked up a lot. You know, it's interesting, like, he came across as probably that inside midfielder, and still is, of course, but he had most of his possessions, vast majority of his possessions were uncontested, and with Gaffey going out, he's doing a little bit of the work there, so it's great to see that he can play such a strong finals game and be linking up like Gaffey would have been if he'd been out there. But to do that for Reddo, to adapt things and change, credit to him.
A couple of others. Ryan looked dangerous all night. Loved the 50-metre bomb after the shaky start earlier, missing that one. The old Cowboy celebration too, which was brilliant. McGovern may have just missed out on some votes. Started well early, and then they moved Chris Mayne to him, the forward shutdown role. I dare say this is something we're going to see plenty of times over the next 5 years, Benny. Teams trying to counteract his influence down the line. Thought Tommy Cole did a big job on De Goey. I mean, that's big shoes to fill when Shepherd goes out. Very commendable effort. It's time for our Kennards roast of the round, and it's finals time. That means the list is massive. Let's get into it, Benny. We're going to start with Lecker. He won't be like this, but a bit flat here. Left foot attempt. Chris Marston gives it the old any danger signal there. Vardy not going up for this CBD. Just gets barreled over by Big Grundy. Probably best to just jump up next time. But the big fella's got credits in the bank. What about his opening goal against the All-Australian Grundy? Roast the umpire for no hands in the back. Roast Grundy for his dive. I don't care, but Vardy's given out a roast.
Now, goal umpire getting in the way. We should have sought some clarification on this before we give out the roast, but my understanding is that it's play on if it hits an umpire. And goes back into the field of play.
I reckon they've made the call that it looked like missing, and they've gone with that one. Is that the rule?
Is that the rules?
I don't know.
I don't know about that, but anyway, we've got to give the umpire one for getting. I mean, it probably was going to hit the post. Let's be honest.
Don't say that.
But the rules potentially might say something different. What about this spoil on Cox? Was that a free kick? Eddie certainly thought so.
Eddie was up and about, and this could have been called very dangerous times. Don't know if Cox is slotting it from 40. They've been shaky to big fella.
Probably saved it is Gov having eyes on the football the whole way. So if he looked down for one iota of a second, that was a free kick every day of the week.
Nervous times. What about Daniel Venables? Pinged for this knock on to Shannon Hearn. Bit stiff there, I thought. Gov with the easy drop mark, but luckily Rioli
saves his bacon.
Just saves the day. Thomas didn't see him coming at all. How do you drop them when you're taking these belters? It's very confusing, that one.
It's always the dollies. Now, Trav Barco, as I said, tough week, an amazing performance. Considering when he was running into goal.
Slip of the year, this one.
I said, this might be it. Like, this could be it.
There was a defender in the way, so it wasn't open goal, but if he pings from 50, who knows, Benny?
Who knows what happens,
who knows?
But a big slip over, let's say. Treloar, he's going for the boundary line, looking for get it out of bounds, ping for it, of course, and didn't bank on Dommy Shee with the right foot. Cool as a cuke.
Who did?
If you don't mind. And Everett, without doubt, like not even in... She just calmly trots off after kicking a ripper.
There was no Chris Marston celebration, like I didn't mean to kick that. He knew what he was doing.
And still side bottom, what was going on there?
Oh, it's a fair
that's the worst handball he's probably ever done.
It's a fair shank
and
of a handball.
Big time to do it too.
I've named this one the almost roast coast to coast. Get a load of that one. Jeddah, very cavalier here, not getting back off the mark in boards. Venables handball too, just space in general. Darling fumbles, and then Willie Rioli has no idea someone's barrelling down, but it all worked for the boys. That's why it's the almost roast.
James Aish almost on a poster here, J.K. Lysett using him as a step ladder. So if that mark had been taken, would have been on posters for days. Yowie about to kick and then dropped it. He was best on ground probably, but what the hell was going on there?
Yeah, let it go there. What about Willie Rioli? Clever little snap round the corner, not much time with it. Josh Kennedy, would have that 9 times out of 10. Not good there from the big fella. A little rusty. Tom Phillips trying to duck back inside. Looked like a bit of a goose here, holding the ball. Don't know what Cripper's doing, trying to take advantage. No, Jamie, no. Bad, Jamie. Daniel Rich going around the grounds now. 183 games for the Brisbane Lions. Not enough for the Fox Graphics team. I don't know what they've done there. Bit of a mare.
Now, Robbo might be a little bit stiff here, just very quickly. I think it was a production error, but we have to do it because once it goes to print, you got to live with what's written. Tipping Melbourne to make the granny to go down to Richmond a month out. No worries with that. That's fine. You can think what you like. But unfortunately, if they do that, they have to get over Geelong. But he's tipped Geelong in the first week of the finals, so that'll be very hard, you would think, for them to go down to Richmond in the big one.
He's bamboozled himself there, but the winner, we're going to go all the way to Chris Mayne. Trying to eat the Sharon. That would have been an uncomfortable fit into the mouth. Unfortunately, couldn't succeed on this occasion, but maybe next time, Chris.